Case of the Mondays, case of the Mondays.
Here we go.
Hey, what's up, Emma?
Woo! I'm good. Can you guys tell I'm in the bathroom right now? I think I hit all the bath.
Yeah,
All right,
no, not at all.
cool.
This is perfect.
No, you're good.
All right.
I guess I could cut that part out, but it's funny that you're in the bathroom. It's great. Who cares?
I'm in the bathroom. My girlfriend's still asleep, and her brother's staying with us. So I didn't want to be in the kitchen like hollering. I'm a loud talker.
Yeah,
So I wiggled into the bathroom and knocked everything over.
Does it matter where people take their meetings anymore? I don't think so. Everyone's on Zoom doing a million different things. It doesn't matter,
Right.
right?
Totally.
There's
Where are
probably
you
people that have been taking meetings while they're like showering or something, and they just
Absolutely.
go headshots in the back. They're lathering up a little bit, shampoo on the head. Are you having a fan? That looks like an espresso. Is that an espresso? That is the most adorable coffee
espresso?
cup I've ever seen in my life.
This is me on my own. This is one of those things where it's like I would never in a million years get this on my own, like ever. There's no scenario in the world where me on my own would have the coordination to have an espresso machine. Get the layers of function it would take for me personally unless someone just gave it to me or I found it or I took it from a hotel. But my girlfriend has all these little espresso cups, so I would never.
Is
ever.
that a machine? She uses a machine, or does she use that like metal like?
She's got a machine. She's got an espresso machine. It's really easy. It's nice. It's kind of
It is
finicky
very
though.
nice.
You got to do it just right, otherwise it like. Psst.
What's his face? What's his face? Who's the fucking guy? One of my closest friends I lived with. Akash had him for a long time.
Did he?
Yeah. I never got into it because it's amazing. It's just too amazing. Like it's right there, so you can just like any moment you want, and then next thing you know, you're like 7 espressos deep. You're like, what? It's a couple gulps.
That is a thing. I don't know what it is about espresso, but I'll keep shooting them back.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like normally I'll have like 2 cups of coffee a day. With espresso, it's like it doesn't count because it's like in a
It's
little
like
cup.
a gulp. Did it happen?
Yeah.
Like you get the effect
Yeah.
from it that I really having to deal with like drinking a hot cup. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice. Also,
I forget you guys live together. I always forget you and Akash. You guys lived together a long time.
yeah, we lived together for a while.
I was in there for 6 weeks.
You were?
Yeah, I slept beside Derek Gaines
Emma.
for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Emma, come live with me.
Well, are you looking for a roommate?
No, but I mean, I love living with friends. You know,
Yeah.
come by for 6 weeks. It's great.
That
Yeah.
place was a zoo.
That apartment, I used to have a different comic staying with me like for a couple of weeks very often, and it was really actually fun. It was like just like below the amount of time you can get on each other's nerves, I think.
Yeah, that's important. Because also, once you start letting people know, now that I don't live in New York, I see what an asset that is. Because I guess I didn't realize how expensive if you're trying to stay there for, So now I see that that's like huge to have a place to stay in New York.
Yeah.
Where are you, Emma? I didn't know you moved.
So I moved to LA. I'd say I moved there. It was like January. And
Okay.
then, right when I moved, I got a job on a reality show in Maine. So I left
Of
LA
course.
and was in Maine. And then I went back to New York when we went on lockdown to get my stuff. And then I was in LA for the lockdown. So it's like I moved here, but right when I got here, I went to Maine. And then so I've only been here while it's like a weird time.
So you pretty much started living there as soon as Corona hit, and you've been
Literally, like
Yeah.
they went on lockdown. I think I got here, and then they went on lockdown like 2 days later.
Oh wow, that's
And
great.
Yeah,
It's getting sort of like bad there again, or not? I mean, not again, but
it is, which I don't get because it's so easy to social distance here. Like where I live, I'm in near Koreatown in Hancock Park. It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's so easy to avoid people.
I don't
Like, it's
get
like,
it either. I'm very
I don't
confused
understand
by why
how,
it's not
like,
happening.
It's
Florida
strange.
and these places where like you're in the cars and you have space, and they're getting like 15,000. Like how? Like New York, I get.
New York, I get.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I get Florida too because it's the beach, Miami. I mean, I guess people in LA are going to the beach,
Maybe,
but
yeah.
I don't know. The first 2 weeks right after lockdown, we drove to Louisiana because my girlfriend has an Airbnb there, so she rents out her house. So we stayed there for like 3 months, and then we drove all the way back to LA. And I stopped over in Kansas City and I did some shows.
Oh, that sounds great. Was it great?
Yeah. It actually was. I mean, it was
of good times, guys. Welcome to Case of the Mondays. It'll be super funny, Miss Emma Willmann and Alex Pavone on the show. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Case. Great to see you guys.
Yeah, great to see you. I'm so jealous. You got to do shows in Kansas City. It's pretty great.
So you would do it? You would do it? It's indoor.
I have to think about it. I don't know. I think I would. It depends. If I don't have to see people, and like as long as I don't like endanger other people, then I'm okay. Like I've been really good, easily been doing the like staying away from people, being home, especially like when we were like on lockdown. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get up, get my groceries, come home, work out, eat. Like it's my own little prison, but like that has all my stuff, you know.
The lockdown, and that lockdown was almost easier because there was like we couldn't rationalize anything. It was like, this is what you do. That's it.
Yeah, there was no options.
You
just had to stay inside. It was that was crazy. Like now that we're removed a couple months, just being in New York for what was it, April, May? That was nuts.
Total.
When you were living in it, you were like, you know, you couldn't really process it. You just had to do it. But now you're like, holy shit! I just got back. Sorry.
Please go. No, if they try to make you guys lock down again, I don't think you guys are going to be able to do it.
You don't think people will do it? So that's what I wanted to ask. Like, do you feel like you're the same person? Because like from throughout the lockdown, because I was like the most responsible, most rule following. I was washing my hands, wearing gloves, like the whole thing. And now that it's like kind of at open as it could be, like I'm just find myself like just becoming more like I'm not putting other people in danger or anything, but like I'm just becoming more reckless with myself. I'm just like you go, would you do comedy? I go, I think so. I just want to get back. Like it just got to end at some point, you know?
It's hard to say no to because we're so used to not wanting to say no to any shows.
Like I said no, and now it feels like I'm going to start doing shows again. And it's been so long, so it's like it's almost like it would be better if there were just no shows the whole time. But like to give me like a couple of shows where I can have fun again, and then be like, oh, we're gonna lock down again. I'm like, no, we're not. I'm going in people's homes and breaking in. I'm gonna have a mic with me, and I'm just gonna do shows. Like this is crazy.
Yeah. Did you go away, Alex?
I'm actually just in Canada right now. I got
you
here
are
2 days ago, so I'm not allowed. There's like a mandatory quarantine here. It was actually pretty nuts because I drove and I was the only one at the border. I've never seen that.
Did you get the traffic the whole way?
No, there was literally no traffic. I rented a car at Times Square. I had Bear.
You're like a live correspondent right now, Alex.
Yeah.
We got Alex Pavone. He's live out in Canada right now.
My mom's dog is barking. Bear, that's enough.
So when we first went on lockdown, I felt a huge sense of relief because I thought it was only going to last for a little bit, and I was like, oh, I can't do anything. Like, and there was a lot of things in my life I didn't like what I was doing anyway. So I was like, this is great. So I felt happy. I felt like happier than I'd felt in a really long time. Like I was like, oh, wonderful. I'd say 2-3 weeks it lasted, and then I started being like, well, how long is it going to last? And I didn't even mind being on the lockdown. I just more minded not having any idea. And then I started thinking about, like, I was like, oh, well, what's going to happen with, and then I started thinking about it more, and then I did feel stressed. But those first couple of weeks, and I was not a hygienic person, like not washing my hands, messy, touching my face all the time. So it was a huge lifestyle change for me.
Big change.
Huge. I never used to wash my hands. I mean,
I came back with like you can't get it from surfaces necessarily. They went back and forth on that a couple times.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, look, I've been wearing the mask and that worked. I'm just gonna do that, and then not wearing gloves anymore. I don't think there's a point unless I'm seeing bodies in the streets. I don't think I'm wearing gloves again. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Gloves. I don't think gloves make any sense.
Well, because once you touch something with the gloves, the shit's on the gloves.
I don't understand the gloves. No one's pushing for the gloves.
Right, because the idea is if you have a glove on, you would be more conscious that you're touching your face with your gloved hand, I guess.
Oh, okay, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know.
That's the idea.
The glove, I don't know. But yeah, I got back to Canada, and well, first of all, again, I rented a car, and I hadn't been to Times Square in 5 months, so that's where I had to rent the car.
Wow.
So I get out, and Times Square is dead. There's
Right.
like, it's unfortunately just a bunch of like, meth heads.
5 months. So you guys in New York aren't like walking around New York. Like
I
you're
ain't
just
going on the subway.
Okay.
I went on the subway 3 times.
Well,
Wow.
wait. So you mean when you say you guys in New York? I mean, like Alex, Alex is in a story. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I'm in
I'll tell you, I've been in the
Right.
city the whole time. Like, people are around.
Right.
It's not like empty. Like, for example, I like walked from my apartment up to Midtown East into the park like pretty often, and it's not like busy.
Right.
But it's very easy to avoid people. It's not like it was before. I've taken the subway. It's basically like 2 or 3 people per car. It's not really.
Great.
Yeah, you put
That's
like.
great.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Like you put your mask on it and you're in there and you're like, all right, well, I'm not touching anything.
Yeah,
There's
that's
2 other
awesome.
people in here with me. I don't feel like this is bad. I wouldn't feel comfortable if I had to do it for like a lot of stops, if it was more people, and especially like if I had to take like a train for like that goes like further, like Long Island Railroad or Metro North, where you like got to go like in 40 minutes between the stops,
Right.
and then everything's closed. You know, man, inside doing shows, I don't know if I would do it. I don't know.
So they would
It
set
seems
it up
so
like
much fun though.
see, I want to go to New York and I want to walk around Times Square where it's empty. See,
It's weird. It's so weird.
I would think it'd be like just like because this hopefully is like a once in a lifetime thing. Because I remember moving to New York and being so overwhelmed by Times Square. So I feel like it'd be like
Oh,
going
yeah.
back, feeling like
You want to talk shit to Times Square?
yeah,
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 That's what
Yeah.
everyone is doing though. The
Yeah.
people that are there.
Bitch, you're empty.
walk around. Yeah, like what happened? Not looking good now. Like just this crazy person.
That's what people are doing. They're making videos like, it's the end of the world.
Right.
And I'm like trying to rent a car. I'm like, all right, buddy, where the fuck's National Rent a Car here? What's happening?
Yeah. You rented a car, so Alex, you rented a car.
I rented a car in Times Square. That was like the only place that really I could rent it from. And it was dead. And then I drove to the border and I was the only guy. I've never seen that before. Like the only car in the border. It was crazy. And then I got to the window and the guy was wearing a mask, the border guard. He's like, where you coming from? I'm like, New York. And he's like, how is it in there? I go, it ain't good. And he's like, whoo. And he's like, all right. He's like, you know the rules. Can't leave the house for 14 days or $750,000 fine. Have fun. I'm like, oh, sounds like it's going to be a good time. And I left and I went in and yeah, it's crazy here how they're enforcing the rules.
750 so in Boston it's like 500. If you go to Boston and don't quarantine, it's 500.
I heard it's like 500 or 750 in LA if you're driving in the wrong place. Or is that right? I don't know.
750,000 is fucking like
That's crazy.
you're screwed. So
They,
you
like,
can't
track your phone and shit. They
Really?
You have to like download an app. They call you and stuff. They,
you're like on
text
parole.
you.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They hit you up, they text you, and they tell you, like, 8 days left. Like, hang in there.
So they're not doing that in Boston, I don't think.
No.
Or I know they're not because I went to Boston and, But
What city would you want to live in right now the most? What do you think would be the most? I'm not talking about safest. I'm talking like the most fun. Like what would be the most like pleasant place to be? And
it depends how much money I had. Like if I had like unlimited money, then I would say, I don't know, like Amsterdam maybe, or like someplace or someplace really warm, like someplace like maybe like somewhere in Thailand, like someplace where I could just be on the beaches. And
Are you counting the pandemic here, or is this just without when it passes?
No, we're counting pandemic. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'd say Thailand then, because I have a friend we haven't talked in a long time. We're still Facebook friends, and she is a wedding photographer, and she got stuck in Thailand, and then she just decided to stay. And I see her pictures. She's living with like a commune of like expats that are there, and they have a huge house, like beach. I mean, it looks like absolutely awesome.
I
heard it's super cheap there. Like,
it's super cheap.
Yeah.
It's got to be such a bonding experience to be in another country, and you see someone you're one of like the 20 people I know that speaks my language here.
Right.
The only person I can communicate with right now.
Kansas City was pretty open. So this is what Kansas City was like. It was Kansas City, Missouri, because there's Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah.
which I think I've been to, but Kansas City, Missouri, I've been to 2 times. This is my second time there. And I had this in the books, like I'd say like 7, 8, 9 months ago, maybe a full year out. And it was weird because when I did it literally about a year ago. So I saw a picture of myself from like the same time last year there.
Oh, okay.
And it was weird because it's like, first of all, I had been working out all the time this time last year. I don't know about you guys. The first 3 months of this, I gained like 15 pounds.
Yeah.
I've lost it since then, but it was like,
yeah.
And that was a wake up call because I was looking at my now chubby now I've kind of fixed it, but when I was in Kansas, my chubby face was looking at my unchubby face from a year ago, and I said I had to get it together. That was like a wake up call, and it was I flew there, flying, felt totally safe. The comedy club, it fit like 300 people, but they only let in like 25%. Now, to me, that wasn't crazy weird because I'm used.
Right.
It's not so, but also like in New York, like we're used to performing in any situation. So like my friend who's a big draw, she was like, "What's it like performing where it's not totally full?" And I was like, I mean, different for me than it would be for you. Yeah. Like, I was like, it wasn't shocking, you know.
What a funny question to ask people, like, hey, what's it like when they're not allowed to have it sold out? Like, usually it's sold out, so right now it's not sold out. I'm not
How
sure.
is that? Is it worth it? Which she definitely was thinking of us, like, she was like, oh, but it's going to be so weird. And she's doing much bigger spaces too, so I was like, yeah, but see, this is like doesn't apply. So that was fine, but the part that was weird was in the green room, you know, like the local comics, and I got in early, so I went to, the club had an open mic. So the first time I was up in stage forever, I did this open mic, and I haven't done an open mic in a long time. And that was all right, but I noticed like they weren't swapping out the mic. So I then brought my own mic, but in the green room where the only time I was like, was because other local comics were coming in, and I didn't want to be the person to be like, I feel weird with everyone in here because it was comics. That was on me.
I've had the same situation though, where like I'm talking to somebody and they're like, hey, you're making me feel self-conscious with your mask. Can you just like take off your mask? And I was like,
someone said that to you?
But
I always ask people if I could take off if we're outside, I'm like, yo, do you mind if I take off my mask?
Right.
Not inside. Inside, I'm not a fucking maniac. The mask stays on. But outside.
I was doing it too. I was like slipping it down. After a while being inside, I was like moving it, and then I was like, wait, what am I doing? And I'd stop. So everyone that's where it got a little.
My girlfriend, like, her family, they take this very seriously, as you should, but it's an extreme paranoia. And, you know, my girlfriend's family, they bought N95 masks in 2014. They were waiting for this day. They're like doomsday preppers.
Ah, okay.
They're ready.
Alex, did you have to like?
What do you mean?
Were you okay? Like, so for example, when you left your house at the beginning of this, I don't remember. Were you mentioning you had to like change your clothes and stuff?
I had outdoor clothes and indoor clothes.
From your girlfriend's idea or from your idea?
No, my girlfriend's. She's every grocery that came in, we Clorox wiped it. She would make her own Clorox wipes. She was shaking them like a martini at the front. I'm like, this is absolutely mental. No, she was but it sort of seeped into me, you know. I'm like, I don't know if you guys open doors, you put your hand in your pocket and you like open doors like that. I'm a madman now.
You've been doing that?
I'm like Howie Mandel. I'm this germaphobe all of a sudden.
I try to do that, but what I'll do is I'll like just do it with my elbow.
That's fine. You do a little Muay Thai on the door.
Yeah, but like then if I'm touching more of it with my body, doing it with not my hands. I'm like doing weird stuff. I'm like open it with my mouth to not touch it with my hands. Like
I did that before it was lockdown, maybe the day before, I took a subway from Astoria to New York Comedy Club in the 23rd Street. I didn't use my hands for a full borough.
Wow.
I didn't grab a
Pretty good.
pole. I was just like, it was incredible. I was like,
I do a lot of shoulder leaning. I just lean my shoulder up against like a structure.
I miss
New York and New York I miss that so much. Like, because I wonder what's gonna survive too. Like, do you guys think that like all those places in the West Village are gonna survive?
I don't know. I don't even like to like think about it. I'm like, I've been wrong about every single thing in this pandemic. Literally every single thing I've been incorrect. So I'm like, I'm not going to start even.
So Alex, I mean, if you've been incorrect about everything, at this point, you're like George on Opposite Day or whatever the hell it was. So like, whatever Alex's prediction is, we can use as the predictor that the opposite will happen. So Alex, what do you think is going to happen in the West Village? And more than likely, the opposite will occur.
I'm an idiot. I think everything's going to make it. So it's probably going to be a ghost town as soon as things open up again. Kase,
I kind of feel like they're gonna, because I emailed my dad about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend, when our lease is up in October, she's like, I want to move back to Louisiana. Like, I don't want to keep paying rent in LA if we're not doing anything here. Let's just move back there. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And then my dad he's like, he's a mathematician. So he was like, I'm following what the pharmaceutical companies are doing and the amount of funding going into different companies. And it was a little confusing, but he said something, there's too much money that people can make off of this, that he feels like there's going to be something, if not a vaccine, there'll be something that'll like, you can take to then help like mute the effects of it. He's
like a treatment.
Something, I forget the word he used, but he's weird. A couple months, like 5 months or something.
Yeah. I get it's crazy and like everything that's happening is so crazy and people die and all that, but it's also like, I don't want to sound callous about this. I just mean like there's a lot of like, okay, so I'll just speak for myself right now and just say like there's no I would feel that if I got it, I'd be fine. Like I don't have any health problems. I'm relatively healthy. I think I would be okay. It just like seems like a lot of people get it also and that they're fine. So I mean, I don't know, man. I don't
want it, bro.
I don't want it either, but it's like I'm
not into it. I've tried so hard to not get it.
Do you have anything, Alex? Like, are you like diabetic?
No. No, I'm healthy as an ox.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get it, I'll smoke it, but I don't want it. It's been too many months of lockdown now where I'm like, no. Yeah, I don't
trust myself. I feel like if I get it, I'll shoot myself. Like, just like
we know people that have gotten it. Like everyone does, and it's like they seem like they're fine afterwards. Now, I'm not saying to downplay it. I'm just saying that like,
dude, not in Canada. People didn't really get it that much here. Like when I tell my parents, I'm like, yeah, my friend got it, and they're like, they got it. They're so fucking like rattled. I'm like, yeah, it was New York. It was crazy.
I'm trying to think because there was who do I know that got it? Well, I kind of thought I do know. Actually, I know a couple people that got it, but everyone was okay, thank God. But I feel like maybe I had it in February or something because it was like I was sicker than I'd ever been, and I thought it was the flu. And I just remember I was so sick. I stayed in bed for like 4 days straight, and I was just like. I've never been sicker. And then I remember I actually got on a plane and because I thought I was getting better, I took a bunch of Dayquil, so it kind of like made me feel better. And then when I got where I was going, I was like, if I knew I was going to be this sick, I wouldn't have done it. And I've never been sicker. So I feel like maybe I had it.
Did you do the antibody test?
I haven't done that, but I've gotten tested for corona twice.
And
what happened? Were you negative or?
I was negative, yeah.
Okay.
The test that's not the rapid test, they like go way up in your nose. So that it wasn't that bad. I was expecting it, but the other one where it's like the quick one, they go like just in the beginning nostril. So both of them were.
Yeah. That's much more comfortable. The other one.
I think I got the quick one.
Horrible.
Which one did you get?
I think I got the quick one. I don't even know. They just stuck
it. They go this far, or they go like this far?
It was maybe in the middle of both of those. It didn't go up to my brain, but
Then
it was
it's
like,
not the one that, because it feels like
It's
it's
like
in
here?
your brain. No,
It
yeah.
felt like it was in my brain. I was like, I don't think my brain has coronavirus.
Yeah.
I literally started going, guys, have you heard of conspiracies about aliens and stuff? Because this feels like you're getting a brain swab for the aliens.
You're probing.
Yeah, I was like, I cannot imagine you need to go this far into my head. I have friends that I speak to that work in hospitals, though, and they tell me about like it being bad and things getting better. And
Oh, good.
yeah, so it's not like this like, oh no, like it's not like this like horrific thing kind of still in that way. Like they were like, yeah, ICUs are emptying and things got better. So I have a little bit more of like a hopeful kind of outlook for it. I hope it doesn't get bad again during flu season. But
Right.
yeah, I just
And New York was doing. You
Nancy
guys were on
better.
such, and you were on such intense lockdown that I think that kind of, you guys did that, and New York
And we
came
don't have
together and did
space.
it.
We don't have space.
Right. You don't have
Tonight
space.
we're on lockdown, and you go outside and you go, this is horrible. And then you sit down on your lawn chair in your
Right.
backyard and you sip on your delicious just iced tea, and the
Yeah.
birds are chirping, and one flower petal falls off a goddamn tree and just falls at your feet that are barefoot. They're barefoot, okay? And then
That's
you
what
get
I
a
was
little
doing in
espresso.
Louisiana.
that's a good time
Hey.
right there.
That's what I was doing. I was integrating into the suburbs. My girlfriend's like, stop talking to the neighbors.
I
Because
did
it's
that
like,
too.
yeah, because you take your trash out, so you see the people across the street,
Right.
and she's in a up and coming neighborhood. So her house is like beautiful, and then it's like it's a very eclectic little town. But
Does everyone know everybody's business?
I don't know, because she's always renting it out. So she's not making
Oh,
friends with
okay. I
she's
get
not
it.
making friends with the neighbors either. So she's always gone. So she says hi and bye. She's polite, but she's not opening up dialogues. So then when I got there, this guy who had a grill, total grill, he had just adopted a baby pit bull. So whenever I'd see him, I'd be like, how's the puppy? And one thing leads to another. Him and I are chatting it up. So then I was walking around the neighborhood waving at people, and she was like, put a cork in it. But it's nice, Yeah.
But when you say
Especially because
somebody
we have a
has a
dog.
grill, when you say that they have a grill, the next most likely sentence is that you also say he adopted a pit bull.
Yeah,
Like
a couple
that-
pit bulls. Had a
Those
couple pit
go
bulls.
right hand in hand together. I've
Yeah,
never.
thick Southern accent. I never got his name. Because in Louisiana, when you get out of like a city, they have like when I got my corona test, I go in and it was just me and this guy, and he's sitting across from me, like I'd say like 30, like way far. So I can't really even hear him, but he was looking at me like. He was looking at me funny. Like he wasn't, no poker face. I don't know if he was looking at me funny because of my short hair or what, but I mean, he was looking at me like, ugh. Giant overweight guy, like billowing out of the chair. So I kind of smiled at him.
Billowing. Wow.
Billowing. Huge.
Billowing. That's very, I know exactly what you mean.
Sweatpants, shorts on, and they were like clumped around his, curviness.
Curviness, yeah.
Probably like 250, 300 pounds, like big.
He's a big boy. He's a big
boy. And he's looking at me funny, but we're sitting across from each other. So I was like, cool tattoo. Because he had a tattoo of like a kitten or something. And then he was like, he's like, thanks. And I was like, yeah, cool tattoo. And then when they tried to do the test, he's like, ain't it like that? And I just was like, oh yeah, trying to like be like, oh, and he was like, ain't gonna like that. And I was like, and then you could tell I didn't understand him. And he was like, you ain't gonna like that. He was saying you ain't gonna like that. But it was like a whole, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like that. And he was like, you ain't gonna like that. And I was like, all right. And then he watched me get the fucking test. He like didn't break eye contact while I was getting the test.
That's so fucking weird.
So weird. But people in the South were really, really nice. And it was nice. It was like how you described it. I would like sit in the lawn,
Yeah.
I went
The
to
protests in
Georgia.
the suburbs were very calm. You just kind
Um,
of wave and.
I went to
Oh,
Georgia
that's
for
nice.
2 weeks, so it was similar to that.
Mhm.
Big backyard, lot of talking to the neighbors about their garage door plans. What are you doing with the garage door? Are you getting the windows on the garage door? I don't even know. Listen how fucked up this is. My girlfriend was my girlfriend's family, right?
Yeah.
Their neighbors had a U-Haul truck, right? And they would say hi to the neighbors. They sort of don't like them, but they're nice. They go, hey, how you doing? 20 years they lived beside. The guy moved, didn't say bye. He fully fucking left, did not say bye. My girlfriend's family was like, oh, maybe they're just moving out their kid or they're bringing stuff in and out. Guy took off. That disgusted me so much.
Yeah,
I
rude.
can't.
That's kind of weird. That's kind of creepy. You think something else was going on?
No, he's a fucking prick.
You think he was in witness? You think he was in WITSAC? Witness protection?
WITSAC?
Yeah, witness protection program.
I never heard it called that either.
That's what they call it in the movies. You guys
really?
Pictures?
No.
Yeah. Every movie with a Boston guy, they go, "What are you gonna go on WITSAC?"
Really?
I never heard that.
I don't know.
I never heard that.
I feel like it's just the town. I have no idea.
Wait, I just watched The Town. I watched that 2 nights ago.
Yeah,
That's a
great movie. I love Boston movies.
Yeah.
I love Boston.
It's such a good movie.
So I got this distant relative, distant. My mom's family's huge, right?
Yeah.
And her, distant. So it's someone's so far removed, but he dated Ben Affleck's grandmother. So this is distant, no blood at this point. He dated Ben Affleck's grandmother. So
Betty Affleck.
Casey and Ben used to go see the guy who I never met. I mean, we're talking so distant. I have no connection here. But they used to be around this place in Wareham, Massachusetts, where my mom would be. And I had this cousin who, we are not related to them at all. But when Ben Affleck's grandfather died, Ben Affleck was with J-Lo at the time, and they were at the funeral. So this cousin of mine, I'm not going to say his name, but he got a picture with him, and then he told everyone that he was Ben Affleck's cousin, and he got asked for 5 years straight because of Ben Affleck.
At the funeral?
Wait.
He got the picture at the funeral.
He got asked because he said he was Ben Affleck's cousin?
Because it was at the, it's a family affair at the funeral. So it's oh, me and my cousin. And Ben Affleck would be, as a child, would go visit his grandmother who was married to this is such a stretch.
I'm not doubting anything. I'm just curious of how that conversation goes where you're talking to a girl and you go, so anyway, I just wanted to real quick, Ben Affleck is my cousin.
Yeah. I'm
more amazed that the man had the balls to ask for a picture at a funeral.
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. Your grandmother dies and you got to take pictures with people who aren't your cousin, who say that they're your cousin.
That poor guy. I guess he
feel bad for Ben.
Yeah, maybe it was I hope it was at the reception or something, but
we're really assuming that people asked. What if he was really
hey,
sad?
Take a picture with me.
If anybody wants to take a picture with me, you can have
Ben Affleck for sure needs people to take more pictures of him at his grandmother's wake.
I know. And this is it's Wareham, Massachusetts is kind of near Cape Cod. And that's where my cousin lives. So we always knew that sometimes Ben and Casey would go visit their grandmother, but no one ever saw him. But
I thought you were going to say that someone in the Irish Mob. I was so jacked. I was so ready for that.
That person.
No
Irish
way.
Mafia, I've never even heard of.
They're brutal.
It's basically everything. Everything I know about the Irish Mafia comes from also The Town.
Yeah.
And Departed?
The Departed, yeah.
Oh, that was such a good movie.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck's not in it, though, which sucks. He should have been.
I know.
Who did he
That was such a good movie.
They could have threw him in for something.
Yeah, he actually would have been there. In the movie.
No?
That was The Departed was one of my favorite. When I see things like that, I'm like, they're good actors. That's a good, that's good because I'm in it. I'm so entertained from front to back. I believe
I'm not blinking.
I'm not blinking. Leonardo DiCaprio is so good.
Yeah.
When he comes in with the pain pills, and he's like, "What if that was real? What if I was gonna kill myself, huh?" And that woman's like, I was like, to get from there to sleeping together. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
There and sleeping together. You watch that movie, you're like, wow, okay. I get it. I never thought that was possible, but they made it seem real.
Yep.
There's a scene and I thought this was insane. If you put this on paper, I would say impossible. Matthew McConaughey is such a good actor. And season, I think, 1 of True Detective, where he's like drunk and a woman comes over and like he's like turned, there's like a sexual attraction between the two of them, and then she has sex with him, but to hurt the man that she's with. And before,
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
and then they have sex, and he kind of comes out of it, and he's like, "What did you do?" Like realizing what she just did, like being like he was like gone. He was like gone out of his mind while they were sleeping together, and he's like, "What did you just do?" And then she leaves, and I was like, "Yo, it's crazy." If you told me I was gonna believe the guy, like if you were gonna make me feel like the guy was right, like yeah,
Right.
the girl did manipulate him into having sex. I was like, wow,
Right.
that
That
was
is possible.
crazy. Yeah, because I totally was like, how did you that to make it feel like real and the whole thing? I just thought was like,
I wonder how they get so good at acting. Like, do they just work really hard at it?
Yeah,
Because
probably. They probably.
the guy's done like dozens of movies. I think after like a couple of movies.
I'm not like a pop culture guru by any stretch, but wasn't McConaughey like laughing stock at one point in
No.
movies?
Was
Didn't
he?
people call him like a bad actor? Yeah, I think so. I think people are like, this guy's
he?
not. I think so.
I don't know, man.
You
He's
heard.
done a lot of really good movies. I mean, I was on vacation. So talking about coronavirus, went on vacation with my girlfriend, and we watched 2 McConaughey's movies back to back. One was Dallas Buyers Club, and he was great.
Oh yeah.
He was so good. And then we watched Lincoln Lawyer, and I was like, are you fucking telling me you're going to hit
Oh, yeah, that's a
back
good
to
one.
back? I was like, no fucking, I'm watching the movie, and it's good. And throughout the movie, I look at my girlfriend, I'm going, no fucking way. No fucking way, this is good. I go, back to back. I'm like, this guy doesn't miss.
Right.
The movie did was so good. I was like, and then even in The Wolf of Wall Street, where some people you don't like, this psycho, when he's at the table and starts hitting himself in the chest, I was like, this is weird. But then I'm watching it and I go, this guy's just like, I don't know, man. This guy's
You believe it.
Yeah, you believe it. You're like, what is this? This is great.
He's amazing in A Time to Kill too.
Yes.
That was a really good movie. I get
Great
curious when
movie.
people bring that movie up. I'm like, that was really good.
See, I wonder what makes him. I just wonder, is it like he, does he just wait? Who's the other guy? Bradley Cooper. I think he's really good too.
I was actually thinking McConaughey was the guy for a second that he played opposite Lady Gaga in that movie.
That's Bradley Cooper.
I know, but
Yeah.
I knew it was, but for a second I was like, he killed it in that, but I bit my tongue.
Because Bradley Cooper's so good too. But and then I know with Bradley Cooper I've like read about, and I know that he like studied acting forever and ever, and loved it and did this and did that, and like loves the craft.
McConaughey's got a crazy story. He was like drinking with the director of fucking his story isn't that crazy. He probably was an actor, but you know how they fucking bullshit stuff. And like, I don't know. And anyway, he like got drunk with the director of that fucking super famous teen movie he did. All right.
Yeah, be cooler if you did.
At something times at Rushmount High.
No,
or something.
not Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you fucking idiot.
I know what you're talking about though. It's a similar.
That's Jessica Foley and that's Sean Penn.
No, yeah, Sean Penn.
look it up.
See, I told you, I'm not a pop culture guru. What the hell? What was it?
I'm not either. I get it all confused.
I know.
I swap the names, which is like the most important part. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why when it comes to any kind of like stuff about people getting in trouble, I don't even comment because I'm like, I'll get the name wrong. I'll be like, yeah, and then Aretha Franklin molested everybody, and they're like, who? I'm like, oh, did I say that? I meant Louis C.K. Oh wait, I didn't even know if that happened. Never mind. So I like don't even no comment for me on any of that.
When I watch like the Grammys and shit, I'm like a 90-year-old man. I'm like, who is this?
Yeah,
I'm
what they do?
My
Bradley
girlfriend
Cooper.
knows every fucking. Remember at the beginning?
Dazed and confused.
Dazed and confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Emma, I think you'll enjoy this. Alex, I think you might enjoy this too. This guy is such a good actor. I watched the screen test he did.
Is this Bradley Cooper?
No, Matthew McConaughey. I saw
we're
the
back
screen
on
test
him.
he did. There's one where he's like against the wall and he goes, I get older, they stay the same age. But the one that he did that I thought was really good, he's like in the car and he's just literally auditioning for the role. And he's just doing it and he goes, and he's just telling the lines and he's fucking just great. And I was like, all right.
Was the character supposed to be in the car?
Fair.
He wasn't in a car. He was just like pretending to be.
Right, pretending. See, because I always wonder that about auditions. Like, how much are you supposed to put on a show of what it is? Like,
On top of all that, though, I mean, he's got the whole, you know,
he's so good anyway.
he's so good, and then he like looks like he's very like young. He's tan.
You
He's
could
got
say
a
he's hot, buddy.
Southern. No, because
Just
I don't
say
know
it,
if he's
Jay.
actually attractive to women. I don't really.
Oh
know.
yeah,
No,
Matthew
no.
McConaughey.
Is he?
No women has ever thought of Matthew McConaughey
I
as
honestly
hot.
thought
Case.
people thought he was attractive not because of the way he looks. I thought he was like one of those like guys where he was like jacked and he had like a good accent.
No, I
Tall,
think he's
handsome.
considered a sex symbol. I think he's considered like one of People
Okay,
magazine's
right,
like
right off,
sexiest.
yeah.
And you know what? You know what he's hilarious in? Tropic Thunder.
Never saw it.
You gotta see that.
You
It's
got it.
funny.
Really just saw it
So
like
much fun.
3 weeks ago.
All right,
It's
guys. Next podcast, the three of us are just watching.
Wait, you know who I confuse Matthew McConaughey with is Woody Harrelson. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
that one I haven't done.
Yeah,
I always confuse them for some reason. But Woody Harrelson, I saw him one time in New
True
York.
Detective.
Right. And I saw him one time in New York, and I was like, wow. And he was really thin. I think it must have been for a role. And this is kind of weird. Not saying anything in any direction. Just
Go ahead.
what?
Wait, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, are they both in the first season of True Detective? Is that them?
Yes.
Yes.
Were you watching the first season of True Detective? Like, man, why is this just about one guy the whole time?
Yeah. This guy's good. This guy, he can be too. He is.
I never
One
done that
detective with
before,
2 lives. It's really crazy.
but I get it. I do fucking swap 2 different people.
Woody,
Like,
when I
how do
saw
they do
him, Woody Harrelson was wasted. I don't know if he was celebrating something. He was so drunk. He was walking down this little hallway, and he was bumping. And it was not so little that it was even easy to bump either side. Like it was like a far lean, and he was drunk. And I was like, is that Woody Harrelson wasted? And it was. He was.
I would have honestly, if I would have saw him, I would have been like, one too many shots at Cheers, bud. I would have said it. I swear to God, I would have said it.
He's got to be a guy that everyone buys a shot for, right? There's certain people because of work they've done. Because his name's Woody, and then he also has Cheers. Everyone remembers Cheers.
Right.
Even like young people, like I guess I wouldn't be considered a young person, but like I'm on the younger end of like who would have been exposed to Cheers, and I still am like, yeah, the guy, like the funny guy from the bar. All right, you want to do a shot?
Norm.
Like,
He feels like your friend. Like when you see him, you're like, oh yeah, like that's like.
yeah, like Bill Murray. Like you see Bill Murray, you're like,
Oh yeah, he gets wasted for
I'm
sure.
talking to this guy, right?
That they make me not really want to act because when I see them and I think that they're so good, I'm like, and they studied it all the time. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to really like when I see really good comedy, I'm like, oh great, awesome. But when I see good acting, I'm like, I don't want to do that much effort.
Yeah, I've even seen like Matthew McConaughey in like a bad movie, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, it's better as he's in it. Like,
Yeah,
it's not a good movie.
and I love Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise. I'll watch something for Tom Cruise. I like watching Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
He's amazing though.
He's captivating.
I like
Also
how he's
great in
also a
Tropic
complete
Thunder.
psychopath.
Sorry.
Like he's successfully like a psychopath. Like I don't mean that in like a negative way. I mean like he's so good at being successful. And there was something I saw that blew my fucking mind. It's Tom Cruise. It's on the Tonight Show. Okay, Tom Cruise, by any stretch of the imagination, at this point, is an old enough person to not be like a sexy young guy to 21-year-old women. Like by any stretch of the imagination.
How old is Tom Cruise? You think like 60?
Easily in his 50s at this point. You know.
Let's see.
And yeah, I'm gonna look it up. How?
I bet he's 58.
Yeah,
Wow.
50.
Holy shit!
570 million.
Right.
Wow.
That's how much he's worth.
So
Yeah.
I have my girlfriend's got a sister, and so this is like an access I have to like younger people's opinions, and I don't talk to her, but like I've asked my girlfriend to ask her questions because I have like the main question I asked was, "You guys think Brad Pitt is still hot?" And they were like, "No."
Yeah,
And I
no.
was like, "Why not?"
He's
Because
not.
girls don't think Brad Pitt's hot because he's
No.
old, dude.
Yeah,
He's
he
old.
hasn't, and he hasn't aged the same. I feel like Matthew McConaughey or Tom Cruise have aged better than Brad Pitt.
Really, I always say that Brad Pitt's on.
You
I
would
also thought he was
think,
the hottest guy.
but it's something about when I see him, he looks very tired. I think Angelina Jolie did a number on him. I think she sucked the life out of him.
Want me to ask my
His lips
mom?
are getting bigger.
Your mom will still think he's hot though.
Let me ask.
Yeah.
Parents are still going to think he's hot. I mean, George Clooney aged really well. We should do the all-male review from 3 people who are not actually sexually attracted to men.
It's really funny. We are kind of doing it now.
Right.
But so Tom Cruise is like, you know, he's just said he's 58 years old.
Okay.
Alex, what is it?
My mom said, yeah, he's still amazing, and she said that she's been listening to the podcast, and she said that Matthew McConaughey lost all his credibility when he was naked playing bongos. My mom's out of her mind.
On.
My mom's out of her mind, but that's what she said.
Okay, that's fair.
Wait, but he was going through, wasn't he going through a divorce or something?
She didn't say this is her opinion. She thinks this is what happened.
He was like into weed for a while. I think that was like
I don't know what she's talking about.
I know what she's talking about. I just remember that. But this is the thing too with all this stuff. Oh yeah, and so he said, "What's wrong with beating on your drums in your birthday suit?" Right. But this is it was 2:30 a.m. 1999. Noise complaint. It was Matthew McConaughey.
Remember, he also moved from his house to a trailer like on the beach and like would just work out all the time. That was like a thing for a while because I remember people like covering that. But
I don't know. I don't remember this.
But all the stuff that happens now, like everything when we're reading about all the awful things people do. I mean, he's playing bongos naked. He wasn't hurting anybody. It's like if that came out today, that would make. And it's like, is this a scandal or just a fun fact? Because now
there's
like,
big scandals.
That would be celebrated if that happened today.
There are so many real scandals. It's really crazy. And like even like stuff I liked, I'm like, wait, so you're telling me the guy who made X-Men was a psychopath? Okay.
Right.
Good to know.
I know it's
I do. Okay. I go on the Reddit too. Was there stuff against the X-Men guy? I didn't even see that.
Bryan Singer. I mean, he like work environment, and then someone else,
not good.
Like, he might. I read another thing totally also that like was about maybe he was like doing some stuff with kids. I don't know.
I read that too. I didn't know that he did that. Yeah, not good. Like
you know
what's his name? Kase?
Bryan Singer. So the weird thing is when someone says something like that, you just kind of go, okay, like this should be investigated by like the law because like I don't want to like say, you know, it's like, I mean, that's like one of those crazy. You can joke about other stuff maybe a little bit more, but if you like start joking, I don't know. That guy's I don't know.
It's weird because like I remember hearing rumors about Kevin Spacey like forever. I remember hearing those rumors because I was in DC. He was my favorite actor. I was like, oh, I love Kevin Spacey, and then I'd say a few people would be like, oh, but I was in DC. This is so many years before this thing broke, and I remember in DC some guy was like, I was an extra on that show, and he gave me a drink. I gave it to my girlfriend. My girlfriend passed out, and then we left. So I had heard about Kevin Spacey rumblings forever. So then when that popped up, I wasn't surprised.
I gotta say, out of all the Kevin Spacey stuff, one part of it did actually make me laugh is when he was taking a piss in front of the guy. Like he just unzipped and started peeing. And the guy's looking at him and he goes, "You want to take a picture?" Like, it's just like such a crazy thing to say. Jesus. He's just a psycho, though. I think he seemed. Some of the things that he did besides the bad stuff, there's this other like weird behavior.
Well, he was molested as a kid, according to this. This friend of mine was like, if you read this thing about Kevin Spacey, it'll make you feel compassion for him. I'm like, no way. And then it was this whole thing his brother wrote about how they were abused as kids, and their dad was like a molester and a Nazi.
Really, a Nazi?
Yeah, like bad.
Wow, that's crazy.
So then that makes you be like, oh. Everything's not okay, but at least now I have some context for where he went wrong.
Like
and blah, 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 blah.
Become like that person. Like it's so funny because you see the stuff that he does, and you go, "Well, it's." And I'm not talking about the abuse allegations, none of that. I'm just talking about the other like behavior, the weird stuff. And you go,
"Yeah, like that apology."
But he's like a crazy ego, like a very crazy ego. Like he's like, I've been famous forever, and this is just how I act. I just treat people like I can just.
Now, he's not good looking.
Normal.
He's not a good looking guy. So he's famous because of his talent, 100%. Those other guys are probably too. Very talented.
Very good.
You're right. It's just a funny thing to be like, I just want you to know, Mr. Spacey, this is 100% talent.
Yeah, just don't get it twisted. He's not attractive.
You're a ghoul, sir. Very talented.
So that almost would make your ego even bigger because you're like, look at me, I'm not attractive, and look at all I've done.
I'm hideous, but look at the work I've produced.
How about, okay. So there's a clip, and it's a Tonight Show, and it's Jimmy Fallon, and the Roots
Who
are.
we back on? Who we?
We're back on Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Okay.
And you are going to. I mean, this guy's been in front of a camera for 30 years.
Uh-oh.
He does a rock song like he's supposed to lip sync it. And when I tell you, this man turned on the charm and a sex appeal to the point where you hear the Roots laughing like 5 to 6 seconds in, and then like it's not a joke. Like he's actually good, and you're like, dude, this guy like just can't not win. Like the second he does anything, he's so good at it, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? He's supposed to be like a dorky dad age at this point. But
right.
He's like on there like, I'm gonna move my hips and I'm a sex symbol. And you're like, are you Tom Cruise? And then it's like, yeah, you are Tom Cruise. Like he believed in himself enough. You feel him win over the room in the clip, and you're like, wow, this is
Thank
crazy.
God he is a movie star and not someone we have to run into in the fucking, like suburbs. Like, thank God he's not. Imagine if he was the neighbor and you got to deal with him out there winning by 1,000,000% at everything.
Tommy, what'd you do with the garage doors, buddy? I like them. That's not a combo you can have. Merhesh, Dave told me this funny Tom Cruise story. I don't even know how he heard it, but Kevin James was doing a movie or something.
Yeah.
They were filming, and Tom Cruise walked by, and people are like, holy shit, it's Tom Cruise. And they stopped filming, and apparently Kevin James was looking out the window like, oh, it's fucking Tom. Like, how famous are you that Kevin James
it's
Tom Cruise?
There's not a lot of people like that anymore, huh?
No.
Oh, he's a star of a different.
But he's not even that he's a star. It's like I read this thing and I've been just repeating it for years with no actual fact check. But I read that he like got his boss's job. So essentially, he greenlights his own movies. That's why you see him being the star and thing. Like he has projects that he does, and like he's the main guy in it. That's why I think his career has like. It seems like he's safe. Like he always does stuff that's good for him to do. That are like,
right.
This is a good movie. Like every time I see a Tom Cruise movie, I go, wow, that was good. Like that the Day After Tomorrow movie was good.
Yep.
Oblivion movie was good. It's like it's not the best movie I've ever seen, but like I've watched Jack Reacher both of them like probably like 2-3 times at this point. Like they're good.
I asked an acting coach, I was like, why is Tom Cruise so good? And it actually kind of is what you're saying about with the dancing. He goes, he believes in everything he does so much that you can't help but you want to follow him with your eyes. Because like if I was like just looking at this coffee, like it's the thing I'm the most into in the world, you would be like, what is she looking? Like everything he does, he's like so fixated on it.
Yeah,
that's what he
focus is intense. And then you read about his insane stuff with stunts and all this other dangerous stuff that he does. And then he was on the Tonight Show I watched. He's apparently related to some Scottish king. And the fucking Jimmy Fallon no, it might have been Jimmy Kimmel show actually, but it doesn't matter. The host just goes, of course you are.
Right.
That's like, of course you're related to a king. You know what I mean?
Do you think he's lonely though? Because who does he talk to? Like, would you want to be his friend for real? Like,
it can't be like
he doesn't.
Completely easy.
There's a price. There's a price for
$570 million though. I mean, who do you really?
But if you're his friend, that doesn't like if right now, yeah, we'd want to be friends with Tom Cruise. It'd be entertaining, But like, imagine like it'd be weird. Like, imagine
it would be weird.
Our lives are so different from his. Like, it could maybe work for us.
It'd be weird for him too. He's like, why am I talking to this idiot?
Yeah, why is this my only friend?
He hasn't combed his hair in 12 years.
If you forgot he was Tom Cruise, you'd probably just be like, this guy's really cool, man. Like, there's no way he became Tom Cruise, and he wasn't also just able to make people think.
But he's got to be lonely because that's got to get tired. Because how do you? It's such a small pool of people he can relate to. Imagine you were someone that and around his age. So you're around his age, so there's more things where you could be like, oh, this is where I fell short and he did, or whatever. But it's like so he's having a bad day and he's complaining about it.
This is not my story to tell.
Okay, let's hear it.
A friend told me a story where he was doing some movie or something, and I don't know, there was a Super Bowl party, and one of Tom Cruise's reps, they were having a Super Bowl party, and one of Tom Cruise's reps, people on the not the cast, but the crew or something like that, I don't know. And Tom was his rep was like, hey, if you invited Tom to the party, he would come. And the guy's like, does Tom want to come to the party? And he goes, if you invited him, he would say yes. Like, he's not going to say, can I come to the party? But he has like a rep to be like, hey, if you invited him, he would show up. And then he like showed up with a football.
See, he's lonely. That's lonely.
But imagine that being something that you never get to experience, is like going to a regular Super Bowl party. And then how weird is it to show up to a Super Bowl party? My friend pointed this out. To show up to, again, not my story to tell, but showing up with a football to a Super Bowl party.
Because he wants to play with people, because he's fucking playing by himself in the yard.
He wants to toss the old pigskin around there, Case. He's a lonely man.
Was his rep at the party even, or the rep was just setting it up?
No, he just said it.
The rep run routes after Tommy showed up with the football. He made him do a couple of hooks.
Dude, do you guys think when you're at Tom Cruise's compound, he's just hanging out and he's like going up to his staff? He's like, hey, so do you guys want to hang out? And they're like, actually, sir, we have to go. I have a family.
Right.
Honestly,
we want to hang out for a little bit. We got. I don't. You want to read some? You want to read? We can do top time. Me and you.
Right.
No one to hang out with.
It's got to be a little sad once you get to a level of like that much fame and that much.
Yeah, because I mean, also it's like when he doesn't want to be on, and then anything he does, everyone's going to tell. Like everything, like any interaction with him, people are going to tell. And then
interesting, yeah.
It's like that rep is almost like his mom being like, "Will you? If you invite, you know what I mean? Like that he can't, or that he wouldn't even feel comfortable being like, oh, you're having a party. Like I'm not doing anything. If you've got space, I'd love to come. Like, but he's not going to even feel comfortable.
For someone to say, you want to you don't want to put him in a position where him as who he is gets told no going to a party. You know what I mean? Like that's just like a weird.
It's like he's a little kid. Like that's like what someone would do for like a kid that doesn't have any friends. Like where they'd be like, like you invite Bob, or maybe not. Maybe that's just how I'm looking at it. But it's like you.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. I agree with you. Yeah.
Not what a 58-year-old man would do.
Right. Not what a 58-year-old man.
Isn't he married? Is he married?
No.
He's not?
And everyone always says he's gay, but I don't know. I have no idea.
I really believe this. I really believe this. I think everyone, after they have enough wealth and fame and they're exposed to enough, everyone just tries out being gay because there's nothing else left. Yeah, that joke about like there's nothing else left in trying gay. I swear to God, think about it. Every type of woman available to him for the last 25, 30 years of his life. And he was he was in the Outsiders. He's literally he was a sex symbol for the first 20 years, like full on sex symbol. We're talking, right before Mission Impossible, he was in fucking Dirty, all those movies that he did that made him who he is. You know what I mean? I just blanked on every single movie that he did.
Yeah, all those movies.
You know the movies where he's dancing in the underwears?
You think he ran out of women so he's gay?
I don't think he ran out of it. I think he's...
I've actually heard people say that about celebrities. Because I've heard like Jamie Foxx. But then there's certain people where it's like...
Why couldn't they just be gay from the beginning? I don't understand.
I don't think it's a thing. I don't think it's like I'm gay as a person. I think it's like I'm bored.
But there's there's no amount of success I would have that I think would make me straight. But maybe I'd get so bored. Maybe I'd try to be with a really little gay guy and like do weird stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Emma. Like you just get bored and you go, maybe I'll have sex with a guy. I've had sex with all the women I want to.
But it'd have to be a really little gay guy.
How little?
Like tiny, like 90 pounds of age, but just little. Like I wouldn't want to feel. I'd want to feel empowered. Like I'd want to feel.
You don't want to be
what I'm saying?
The small one. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I want to be the big one. You know what celebrity is so famous and would never even think of trying to be gay? Is Snoop Dogg. That guy's so straight. Like
no one's straighter than Snoop.
Yeah, he's so straight. Like I could see maybe like DMX. I don't even know, but I've heard. Are you
saying this because they were rapping together the other night?
Oh, maybe that was the connection. But but Snoop Dogg, to me, that's someone who's so. I mean, I think you'd even have to already have like a little bit of wiggle, like a little bit of it in you, and then you're like, okay. Because I heard about that, like Puff Daddy, like all those sex parties, and he screws everyone. And then, and I remember when I asked about that, I said, "Does Mace?" And they were like, "No, he's straight and he doesn't want to." So
he's a reverend.
Yeah. And then who else? Oh, Busta Rhymes, someone said was gay. I've heard that a couple times.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
I
Crazy.
can see that, I guess. I mean,
I
again,
was shocked.
I think it's
Snoop's straight. He's
So straight.
1% of people we're talking about. Maybe that's what I'm talking about. Maybe like 1% of people. Give me that, like where it's like you're not disposed to that in any kind of way, but you're like, man, I've been eating ice cream for 20 years. You know?
Right.
What does a hot chocolate cookie taste like? You know what I mean?
Right. Their reality gets blurred. Like they've made it's like they're like
about. Yeah.
and they're just so fucking super rich that it's like
everything is there.
Right.
Now again, I said this before in the podcast, and I honestly, I know it's a joke, but I don't not believe it. Billionaires need to be watched around children. The second you make $1 billion, for some reason, these billionaires all get an island and they molest.
Where are you getting your intel from?
What the hell?
I'm just going by Epstein, man. I don't know.
I don't even think you know a millionaire case. What the hell are you talking? Oh yeah, maybe
Rich people molest children.
You're out of your mind.
Maniac. What are you talking about? They have
okay. So do poor people.
Yeah.
You psycho.
Yeah, but poor people can't molest hundreds of them over the course of like years. They don't have the means to hide it.
You think that they're? My girlfriend knows a guy who's like, I think he's a billionaire. She does his hair, but she says he's really like cool.
I'm sure most of them are, but I saw a second they get an island and they go, hey, we're gonna have the staff leave today. I'd be like, wait.
Not too many.
I think not this guy that she knows. I'd be shocked. I would be.
Yeah, I don't know, Case. I don't know.
You don't know what, Alex.
But also,
I don't know if every billionaire's a pedophile, is my point. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm going to say that I don't feel comfortable saying that that's a fact.
The theory of it is, too, that where I could see it making sense is once you have $1 billion, then you're kind of untouchable by so many laws. So it's kind of like you're just like seeing how much you can get away with, maybe. But I feel like that they wouldn't become
to begin with.
I feel like they wouldn't become inherently evil the second, like this friend of hers.
I'm not saying someone's evil. I'm just saying that, like,
because if they were going to be a pedophile, they'd have to also be evil.
Yeah,
there's not too many good pedophiles out there.
I'm not arguing with you here about the evil and the pedophile. Yeah, that goes hand in hand. No one's saying pedophiles aren't evil. All right, just to be clear on this podcast, I'm not saying pedophiles are evil. I'm just saying that there are people. Okay. Look, great example. Richard Kuklinski, the guy who played the guy who was the Iceman, the guy who murdered all those people. He had a family.
I didn't know about him.
Yeah, he had a daughter. He was hitman for the mob. He had a daughter, 2 daughters, I believe, and he had a wife. He had a family. He was a good family person. He murdered so many people.
For work?
For work. He was a hitman. That was his job.
The point is, he had an urge, and he compartmentalized that urge. So, like, there might be someone who's married today who just has been compartmentalizing being a pedophile the whole time. The way this guy compartmentalized murder.
Different than a billionaire as a pedophile.
Alex. He doesn't have a barn on an island to take a kid to or something.
Maybe the billionaire can get away with it better, but it'd be tough to do a study on because it'd be hard to find people that would admit. First, they'd have to admit their socioeconomics, then they'd have to admit if they were attracted to kids.
Yeah, not too many people come forward. Yeah, when it comes to pedophilia.
We got a couple questions for you. Okay, what's your tax bracket?
Yeah.
Are you attracted to kids? And then like, what the
second people buy giant pieces of property that are like away from everybody, you start to go, hey, what's going on here? Why do you need to be so far away from everyone?
I'd want to have an island, though. I'd love to have an island.
I would, too. But I don't know if I'd want a private one. I think I'd want to just live in a nice place with a nice community.
No, you want to get an island. If you have $1 billion, but also if you have $1 billion, you become responsible for so much stuff because you could change the world. So then it's like, it's a lot of stress.
This brings me to a question I love asking on the podcast. It's a new question I've been doing all the time. You get $125 million to help people. How would you use it?
To help people?
Yeah.
I think I'd have a breakdown and have someone else do it for me. Because I would just be like, I'd give like $60 million to battered women, 10 million.
So you would. My point was just like, okay, so battered women is a thing, but you would give it to charity as your way. That's what
if I had to help people with it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
first of all, I'd tell my sister to set up a nonprofit. I'd give that like 15 million, and then we could like siphon the money for ourselves. So
Mm.
I'd cut myself off some, or I'd save
You
60
got
million.
it.
Oh yeah, wouldn't you want at least 20 million of that 60 million for yourself?
No, it's 125 million, and yes, I would want some of it.
Yeah, so I'd
No one
figure out
said-
some way to
I'm just talking about
scam getting my own thing.
the fact that you're gonna get some of the money is included in the
Okay.
hypothetical.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Don't
first
worry.
things
It's not
first.
like you don't have to keep. You're already a rich person.
Okay.
Put it that way, and you have 125 million to help people. You go nonprofit, and you
I'd
do.
give like 10 million to overweight kids. To do
Overweight?
yeah, like fat kids to exercise and get therapy. And then like abuse women and abuse men and women, homeless kids, and
Ooh, these are great, Emma.
I would want to do something to
I
like
didn't even think about any of these people.
help kids that had been molested not become molesters.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
Something.
yeah.
Or help
That's
people that
big.
are thinking of becoming molesters to not.
That's big. That happens a lot.
Yeah,
For
some
sure.
kind of hotline or something where it's like, hey, you're sexually attracted to kids. We're not going to judge
That's
you.
the
But we're going
same
to work
thing.
with you on it so you don't go.
Yeah, that's the same thing with if you get hit. You hit when you get older.
Right, exactly. Well, you're
Yeah.
trying to take ownership of it. And I watched this crazy documentary about these guys that were in jail for being pedophiles, which is crazy. It was so hard to watch because it's interviewing these guys, but they were like talking about them being molested, their urges, and then 2 of them got castrated. So then they had no sexual urges. And it was really interesting because they were like, now that I have no sexual urges, I can like think clearer.
Is
It was
castrated just your balls?
I think so.
I think so, but I'm not sure. But Alex, I've talked to you about this, and I've said this on stage before as well. That is a thing, I think. I think a lot of people, you get too horny all the time, and you can't think straight.
And they have a problem. Like,
They got
admittedly,
problems.
they were
They
like,
got problems.
they were like, and I wish I could get the name of this documentary.
They
It
also
wasn't in the
really
States.
sexualized thoughts. Like, were they thinking about sex all the time? Like, they were really
Overcome
like,
with the urge of pedophilia.
okay, got it.
But then, this is a real documentary. I don't know the name of it. I watched it on Hulu. Pedophile documentary castration. 2 of the pedophiles became in a relationship. It's called The Castration Cure.
Other?
I
Yeah.
never thought I'd look at someone right in the eyes when they Googled pedophilia castration.
It's really hard to watch though.
No,
Like
I
the docu-
watched it. I watched the
documentary-
Michael Jackson documentary, and then they
No,
started talking about the sex, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
yeah, that
Like
was.
a fun music documentary. Tell me about how Prince became famous. I can't deal with this. I was like,
I had to watch it in chunks too. That was
so hard.
This one was actually more
Yeah,
disturbing to me that one was really disturbing. This one was almost more disturbing because it wasn't even like shot as well. It was like pretty like low budget, and like the 2 guys, like the Michael Jackson one, everyone was like great at like presenting the story. Not that should have any bearing on it, but this one was just like fucking depressing, but interesting.
No, it is interesting, especially when you learn about that stuff.
Yeah.
God, I
have
can't
you guys
believe
been watching the Golden State Killer documentary with Patton Oswalt's? Patton Oswalt's. Well, she's passed away now.
Oh, yes. So I've listened to all the stuff about that.
Is it-
I've listened to tons of it.
Pardon
Patton
me?
Oswalt's wife was like a true crime.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like blogger,
Watch it.
you know.
Now I
author.
got back into serial killers. I can maybe get into. That's like a thing for me because it's just.
Oh, I love watching true
Yeah.
crime.
But I don't like all true crime. Like I need a specific serial killer. And I need you to hook me. Otherwise, I just like, oh God, what happened? This happened. Like,
Right.
Get to the whole thing. I'm watching a lot of Law and Order SVU now.
Oh, they do it well because they know right away. They're like,
I really want to talk to one of the writers of that show and just be like, hey man, good job.
yeah,
It's like 20 years you've been doing this
they
show.
got to be kind of fucked up after working on that show for that long.
I have never really been able to consistently guess on that show what's going to happen. I mean,
Really?
I've watched, like, there's 20 seasons of this show, and I've literally probably watched 18.
No way.
And I'm like, I still
can see that. I can see Kase going 0 for 18 years. For sure.
Honestly, sometimes I'm like, this is what's going to happen, and I'm right. But there's also many times where I'm like, oh, I didn't see that happening. Okay.
It's never the first person they think. It's usually the second or third, and then they look them over the first time, and they have to go back around. That's 60% of the time.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about picking who the bad guy is. I'm talking about guessing, because sometimes I can do that way more, but like I can do that better. But I'm talking about like actually guessing what direction the story is going to head in, and I'm like, whoa, I did not see that coming.
Really?
All of them when they were in high school? What? And he was their teacher? What? I didn't know that. Like that type of turn in the story where I'm like,
I like when they give the address, and I always look in the background to see if there's stores I know.
Yeah.
That's all I do. I never focus on who the murderer is. I'm like, there's a Walgreens there.
Yep.
They filmed that in Harlem. They used to film, because I used to live on 145th. They film it on like 142nd or something like that all the time. They're always in Harlem because there's all these beautiful tree-lined streets.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the problem with shit being like filmed and set in New York, is I'm always looking at the background. I can't fucking focus. I always look at the train stations too. I'm like,
you have ADD.
For the background of shows shot in New York,
not the same way.
Yeah.
You see something and you're like, oh wait, I know that block.
Right.
Wait a second. I swear to God, you know how many times I've watched Law and Order and they filmed in the neighborhood I lived in, and I'm like, all right, to the left, the falafel spot, okay.
Right.
Get to the right. Oh my God, I know the taco place. Perfect. I get so excited, like an idiot. Just because
I get it. It's like watching it's like seeing your friend on TV or something.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
Me too.
I know them.
I know there.
Yeah.
That's actually how I felt. I always told my friend this. I used to order from Seamless a lot more, but there's a lot of restaurants I've ordered from Seamless. I've never been to the restaurant, and then I would see the restaurant in real life, and it was like signing a celebrity. I was like,
that's funny. That's a good thing to write about. That's funny.
Thanks, man.
That's a good that's a good relatable thing that other people probably haven't identified. Damn, that's a good one.
Oh, thanks.
Whenever someone says those kind of premises on stuff, I'm like, fuck.
You're the second person to tell me that. Maybe I'll do something with it.
Yeah, because that's like a thing where I'm like, right away I was like, oh yeah.
I love how you're still in a bathroom. That's my favorite part.
Guys,
the toilet seat.
So much for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Plug what you want to plug. Let people know where they can find you. Go ahead. Alex?
Oh, Mr. Alex Pavone, Pavone.
Great.
Instagram.
And I'm at Emma Willmann on Instagram and Facebook. And then I joined fucking TikTok 2 days ago for no reason. And I've got Inside the Closet, and during quarantine, I'm one called Emma's Bunker. They're both on iTunes. I joined TikTok, maybe it was 3 days ago. Finally, I was like, I'm not going to do it. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Then I started working with someone, and he was like, I'll help you. He's like, and then I hired someone to help me with TikTok. It was a really good deal. And they made me the videos and made the hashtags, and we just got it set up. And then I think the first day we posted, Trump's going to ban it. But I'm on TikTok.
He's going to ban it?
He is, but you know what? Fine. Good. I mean, maybe it's not good. It's a slippery slope with freedom of speech, but
yeah, I don't know.
And it is pretty fun. Like now that I'm on it, like watching other people, like people do some cool stuff on there.
Yo, I don't know if I'm gonna. This is an idea I had, but like we should all. I don't know if we should all, but maybe we should all just like take every video that we put and just put it somewhere. Nobody has any clue when this fucking video came out. Nobody knows when you made it. When the new thing comes out, just start uploading instead of trying to always make new content, you're like, yo, I made content that was great already, and just re-upload it to the new thing. Because you see people re-uploading stuff to TikTok. They had on other stuff, and because it's new, they're getting like 1 million views on it.
Oh, because I used to always overthink about that. I'm like, no, like I don't, but 100%. One big thing learning about seeing all these different social medias is it's like, no one cares. Like,
no one cares. Yeah.
No one cares.
They're new people. It's a new market. Each one is a new group of people.
Right. And there's so many people in the world doing so much different stuff with so many different things. Like, I think comics are usually, like, I know I'm pretty neurotic, so I'll be like, oh no, if I do this, people are going to know I'm a slow writer and I haven't come out. No one cares. No one
cares. No one's watching.
No one's watching. No one cares.
Things happen so quickly. No one cares. No one cares.
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually just recently gotten the confidence. I don't have the full confidence yet, but I'm going to start doing the talking to the videos on Instagram. Where you just
Do it.
I can't wait,
Right.
buddy.
But
Yeah.
I just to do that, it just to me is like, oh God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. People just
Doesn't
don't
matter.
care. The thing.
Right.
Yeah, people don't care.
It doesn't matter. Guys, thanks so much for listening. If you have any problems with anything we said, tweet at me at Kase Raso. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya.